going on, everybody? James here, producer of the None of Your Business podcast. Hope you're having a great day. We've got special guest Jessen James Chinnapan on the podcast this episode. He jumps on with Shawn and Lacey and shares his incredible story of how he was very successful at a young age, lost everything, but then gained it all back due to his abundance mindset and knowing that everything will come back to him. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of the podcast with special guest Jessen James Chinnapan.
Welcome to a brand new edition of the None of Your Business podcast. And this week we have a super special guest. I got to tell you, super special, especially for us in the sense that I feel like we've literally been fighting. I'm going to have him tell the story.
Yeah.
Fighting the system in order to be able to just be in the same room with the gentleman. And after all said and done, we're still not in the same room. He's
not yet.
All the way across the pond. And we're here in the United States and we're doing this with technology, but we still long for and dream about the day when we'll actually be able to be in the same room with him. But we figured we'd bring him on the podcast and then, of course, broadcasting some super exclusive content into Black Diamond Club to hear his take, hear what he is seeing in the midst of a pandemic, because this is a guy that is just absolutely, inspiring and motivating people to move forward. And that's one thing. You can just inspire people, great, but he himself is also doing great things, building his business, reaching tons of people, making massive impact. And of course, we're going to talk a little bit about the lifestyle because he was recently on a very touching television program. For those of you in the United States, it's sort of this sort of home swap,
yeah.
right? Where he went to someone else's home, but it was a very touching story. It wasn't just reality entertainment. Jessen, of course, leveraged that to make massive impact. So let's bring him on. Here is our special guest for today, Jessen James Chinnapan. Welcome to the None of Your Business podcast.
Wow, what an introduction. Have you guys been speaking to my mum beforehand and getting some nuggets on how much she loves me? You must have. No, seriously, guys, absolute honor and pleasure. And thank you for bringing me on. We have been battling, indeed. We have been battling, but we will get there. We will get there, I'm sure.
So for all of our United States-based listeners, and one of Lacey and I's goals is to introduce you to the community that we serve, because you are so inspiring to the people that the community that you've built over in Europe and of course in the United States. But with the community that we serve, who is Jessen James Chinnapan?
Wow, what a great question. What an interesting question. Well, look, for those of you who don't know, I know a lot of the BDC family are clinicians. I'm actually an ex-clinician myself. I'm an ex-psychiatric nurse. That's my background. I'm one of the few nurses turned entrepreneur over here in the UK. For me, I suppose my fascination with entrepreneurship started in school. I was that kid in school you could go to and ask for stuff and I'd go and find it and sell it to you. Legal stuff for the purposes of this podcast, but for me, it was more about, in school, they don't teach you entrepreneurship. They don't teach you about this stuff. It's very much like teach you to get a good education and go and get a job. Which is cool, obviously if that's your route, that's absolutely fine. But for a kid like me who was fascinated with this stuff, nobody kind of teaches you that. But I got into buying and selling stuff from a young age. But as you know, parents, peer pressure, whatnot, you get told to continue your studies. So I did. I went to university. I qualified as a psychiatric nurse. And I continue to work in the, over here, we've got the National Health Service and we've got the private sector. So I was blessed to work in the private sector, which is essentially a business. And it taught me some great skills. But in the last recession, from 2008, 2009, my employer told me that they no longer needed me anymore. And this became like a big blow for me because I climbed the ranks in the private sector as a nurse. I was like the youngest ward manager in the UK at the age of 27. And being the private hospital, we had to go out and sell beds and make money. And I made my employer over £6.5 million in just 2 years. And just like that, I was dropped. And I don't know if anyone listening right now can relate to being, I don't know, stabbed in the back, betrayed, something like that. Because I've given my all and everything to this company, right? Only to be like pretty much bitch slapped and so we don't need you anymore. So, and it hurt me, but it taught me a very valuable lesson. And if anyone's listening to this right now, I'd like you to, if you're taking notes or whatever you're doing, please either pencil this into your brain or write it down. It taught me this valuable lesson, and that was nothing in life is secure unless you secure it yourself. Like literally, like your business isn't secure right now, people, unless you step up and do some certain things. Your job isn't secure because you're putting your life in the hands of someone else. Your health isn't secure. Your relationship is like, nothing is secure unless you take responsibility. And literally at that moment when they told me that they don't need me anymore, I made a decision, and that was to never work for anybody ever again. And but I don't know about you, but you know what happens after you make a brave decision, right? Like literally 2 seconds later, like this little voice goes up in their head and go, "What the hell are you doing?" And that was me. And it was hard because like for 5 months, I was literally like walking around, licking my wounds, trying to figure out what to do. Bearing in mind with the background that I had, my career, I would have been snapped up by one of my ex-bosses and competitors like in a heartbeat, but that would have been me putting myself back into a job, and I didn't want that. And it was difficult because I had to face internal battles. I didn't have any money. I had to figure out what I was going to do. I had my parents on my back. Like, my parents, they're from Mauritius, obviously we're from an Asian background, and in Asian communities specifically, like if your son is unemployed, like you're an embarrassment, man. Like you're embarrassing. And I remember my dad making up excuses and all sorts, saying like, Jessen's taking a career break. And I'm like, no, Dad, tell the truth. Jessen got fired. Like, stop lying, So it was a tough time. But then it dawned upon me, and many of your listeners will relate to this, is why don't I use what I already know? And that was the healthcare industry. Like I knew nursing, I knew healthcare, I knew how the business ran because, I suppose subconsciously I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. So when I was working for somebody else, I was deemed as a intrapreneur. I was being entrepreneurial inside someone else's organization. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to give it a go. And I launched my own healthcare business back in 2009. So 5 months after I was made redundant. And it was tough. It was tough because in the UK, you have to deal a lot with the local authority and things like that to get registered. And I met a lot of resistance, and it was tough. And for like 6 months, I didn't have any clients or any income into that business. And I'm sure many people listening to this, if you're getting into business or you're running a business, you know it's tough at times, and you have that moment of wanting to give up. And I don't know if anyone else is listening to this right now, maybe even during this crazy time we're going through right now, feels like giving up. But I did. I felt like giving up. But just when you're about to give up, there's like a tipping point about to come. And if you keep pushing, you'll get that tipping point. And before you know it, I started getting clients. I worked literally like a dog, like just day in, day out, pouring all the money back into that business. I'm pretty sure, this isn't a cliche story, but I'm serious. I was living off freaking like super noodles and all kinds of stuff, and just trying to pour the money back into the company. So I was able to double the size of that company in 1 year. And then I quadrupled the income in that business in 2 years. But that business allowed me to do certain things, which was make good money, because we all get into business to make money. None of us are here to be charity cases, right? But there was a bigger problem at hand because I had like nice car, nice house, nice stuff, but I was working 80 hours a week. I was a slave to my business. And quite frankly, I was my business. And I'm sure many people who are listening to this might relate, like especially when you're self-employed or service-based. I know a lot of your audience are. If it's all reliant on you, then you actually don't have a business. You have a job with a terrible boss who doesn't give you enough time off. That's it. Right. And that was me. And it was a dangerous place to be. So I had to take what was in my head, put it into systems, processes, hire the right people, niche down my product offering, increase my prices, And I was able, fortunately, over the course of about 12 months, I was able to go from working like 80 hours a week down to like 1 hour a week, just managing that business from afar, having my other managers and other directors run that company for me. It essentially made me financially free at the age of 31. It allowed me to go off and invest in other businesses and property and things like that. And before you know it, by the age of 33, I was officially a millionaire. So not bad for a nurse who got fired. You know,
Not bad at all. What a wonderful story.
Thank you.
Super, super inspiring. So today, you spend a lot of your time helping others to understand scale, systems, processes, exit. Tell me kind of what you're seeing right now, obviously over in England, but I mean, this is a worldwide pandemic. Tell me what you're seeing amongst the people that you are working with. What sort of is the emotional temperature right now?
Dude, I'm glad you asked that question, because it's most people, when they come to see me, they often they're going like, Jess, what's happening in the marketplace? What's happening with business? What's happening with it? And they talk strategy. It's got nothing to do with strategy. It's in your head at the moment. Everybody's running in the place of scarcity and they're going into a place of lack. Like, nothing good comes out of that state. Like, there's no such thing as unresourceful people, only unresourceful states. So like, if you want to look at who's winning at the moment, it's people that have gone, no, this is not the new norm. I refuse to accept it as the new norm, because this too shall pass. What can I do in the interim to make sure I'm still crushing it, rather than just turn into a little school child and hide and run or whatever? Like, so for me, what I'm seeing at the moment is a lot of lack, a lot of scarcity type mindset. But on the flip side of that, for those who are willing to be coachable, those who are willing to learn, those who are willing to understand that, look, with all due respect, am I allowed to swear on this web? On this? I don't want to offend anyone.
What good would it be if we brought on a guest and made you be someone else that you're not?
Yeah, no, you can swear.
Obviously, my mom's not listening, so that'll be okay. I can swear. So, but seriously, when the shit hits the fan, like it's already hit the fan, like, and some. So if you're already on the floor, there's only one way you can go now, right? So like literally just pick yourself up, try something. Some people are not doing anything. And I think what I'm seeing at the moment is increasingly people are attempting to be innovative with their businesses, but it's coming from a place of lack, as in they don't truly believe it's going to work. So they're just going to give it a go. And when was the last time something worked when you didn't believe in it? So if I'm seeing anything right now, I'm seeing a lot of people like literally go from a place of thinking like, hey, it's all over, to go, well, maybe I'll give this a try. But they're operating from a place of hope as well. Like, I hope it works out. Like, seriously, with all due respect, hope is for suckers, man. Seriously, like, you have to have faith that it's going to work. Because like, hope is like wishing. Faith will get you to where you want to go. And if people listening right now, like, if you know you've got a great product, if you know you've got a great service, if you know what you've got can help someone or change this world or make it a better place, then don't hope it's going to work. Have absolute bulletproof faith that it's going to work out. I mean, I launched 3 new companies during COVID. I own 7 businesses myself. I'm not just talking this stuff, right? So like, and I'm just a kid who grew up in a rough part of London who had 2 choices: be in gangs and do drugs, or actually listen to some good teachers and parents. And I'm very glad I took the latter, right? So if I can do it without sounding cliche, I'm a nurse, man. Like, if I can do it, what's your excuse?
I love that. And, you know, Jessen, that's, I know that you do a lot of work helping people like not have a business that's reliant on them, right? And that's obviously something that you achieved yourself. And right now, with everything that's going on, people do step into those states of lack and uncertainty, and they're trying to not stay there. And what we hear oftentimes is people say, but I'm so tired. I just don't know what else I can do. What kind of advice do you give to entrepreneurs that are in that state specifically, especially with what's going on?
Yeah, great, fantastic question, Lacey. Look, first and foremost, there's 2 things I'll say to that. Number one, when people are feeling like that, they're focusing a lot on what they don't have. Their focus is on, I don't have this, I don't have enough sales, I don't have enough clients. It's lack. But what do you have? Like, go back to basics. Like, have some gratitude for what you do have, because I guarantee you there's someone out there right now worse off than you, way worse. So go back to a place of gratitude. That will transform your state. That will put you into a different mindset. It will go like, hey, you know what? Things might be crappy right now, but hey, it's not as bad as so and so. It's not as bad as somebody else, right? And I suppose the second thing people can do when they're in this state now, like, you know, I'm tired, I'm this, I'm that, is often people are trying to overcomplicate stuff. And, you know, there's that saying that when you're searching for a solution, a great place to start is right underneath your nose. And what you're looking for might be right in front of you. You're just overcomplicating it. Like, people have got great products and services already. Like, I'm like in my training company, a lot of my peers here in the UK, we run lots of live events. We do all this kind of stuff. A lot of them started going, oh my goodness, like, we're going to have to pivot. We're going to have to adapt. We're going to have to change everything. We're going to have to do this. And I didn't. I actually continued to make offerings into live events with the offer of a digital version attached to it. But their ticket for the live event is still valid for when we're out of this crisis. So people still wanted to do live events. So why stop selling live events? Just adapt that slightly. But I had people changing their offer completely and changing stuff up, and now it's almost like they're launching something that they don't even understand themselves. So it's like they're diluting what they're offering. So keep it simple. Just keep it simple. So that's what I'd probably say. Anyone listening right now, if you're feeling like you're tired, you're this, you're that, you know, go to a place of gratitude, look right underneath your nose. And I suppose one more thing is, is understand that tough times don't last, tough people do. You know, so that's what I'd say.
Great.
Well, speaking of gratitude, let's talk about your appearance on the reality program where you went to another family and swapped houses. Was it for a week? Was it for an entire week?
Yeah, for a week, yeah.
And basically the premise, I mean, I'll state it so it's not basically coming from you sounding pretentious, but we have an upper class family switching places with a lower class family and understanding. So they're seeing your house and your car and the way that you live and vice versa. And all of the press following the episode was very positive because it was very touching because you made a massive impact on that family. Tell us about that. But I also want to know, what did you get out of that? Because obviously, I mean, it's great to be benevolent and altruistic, but clearly there's lessons in gratitude. But even beyond just lessons in gratitude for you, I would love to hear what the lessons are that you received by doing that.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for bringing it up. I mean, it was an interesting show. I mean, I was approached by the TV company to swap lives, like you said, with a family who wasn't doing so well. And this was just before lockdown over here in the UK. We went out and filmed this show, which was good timing, I suppose. And I think for me, the experience as a whole was really humbling because me, my kids, my family, it's like, I mean, I came from nothing. Like, I came from a household where like mum and dad would just bust their backsides working like every day, and we had food on the table, we had a roof over our head. But I used to wear hand-me-down clothes. I used to wear like secondhand stuff. I used to get bullied at school for looking different. I used to hate that, and I suppose that started my early fascination with money. I was like, hey, like if I'm wearing cheap stuff, then what do I need to do to go and fix this? And it kind of made me realize that I need to make money. But for me, that's a long way away. That I don't live like that anymore. So going back to a place where I had to live off the equivalent of how many dollars this is, it's probably like $70 to $80 a week I had to live off for my family. For me and my family, we was given like $80 to live off for the week. That was food, travel, all that kind of stuff. Like, and I'm like, $70, like my kids spunk that on breakfast, and I'm like, oh, it's like, this is crazy. So it made me realize that how much we when you make it, quote unquote, make it or whatever, or even if you're comfortable, there are efficiencies we can still make. Like, we waste a lot. I realize we waste a lot, like money, food, all these kind of things. Like it's crazy. Like, I eat out with my children like 3-4 times a week and do all this kind of crazy stuff. And it was a very humbling experience. Like for me, it was a reality check for my family as well, because I've been there, I've lived that. But I was like, you see, like look how people live, you know. But it also taught us to slow down. Like as entrepreneurs, we get caught up in this whirlwind of, you know, supporting other people, especially service-based people, and you know, going out there and crushing it and making your business work. But you've got to be very careful, because one day you'll make it to the top and you'll turn around and look behind you, and the people you're doing it for are not there anymore. Like then they haven't got time for you. So so it taught me to slow down. Like think simple things like cooking dinner with the kids, because my philosophy has always been, hey, like I'd rather eat out with my children so I can spend time with them and break bread, rather than waste precious time with them looking at a cooker with my back to them. Like, so, but then what about getting them involved in making dinner? We never thought of doing that before. So we had to, with this low budget, like we had to get them involved in doing stuff. We couldn't just go out. And I suppose we also learned that we tend to solve a lot of our problems with money, which isn't a bad thing, because like money's amazing. And like if anyone's listening, like, you know, seriously, get your money right, because it can solve a lot of things for you. But we take it for granted so much. Like the kids are bored, right? What can we buy to entertain them? Right? Which isn't the best strategy, right? We should be doing more as a family. So really thought some humbling stuff. For the other family, it was interesting because I really got to understand how they live, how they got into debt in the first place. And it was tough. They're living a tough life. Like, I mean, how do you live off, you know, $70 a week to feed your family? And they had like, I think they had like 3-4 kids, and it's hard. So off the back of that, what, you know, I suppose you asked me what else did I get from it? I suppose I had the humbling experience of being able to serve this family. So what I did was I offered to train this lady up on business. I put her through my business and marketing school. And then I pledged to fund the startup of her company. So she's just about to launch a cleaning business. Obviously, COVID hit, which restricted her movements in terms of domestic and commercial cleaning here in the UK. But nevertheless, we're all getting it set up. Getting that funded, paying for her equipment, her van, her stuff, all that kind of stuff. And we'll be doing her marketing for her and getting her up and running and giving her and her family a lifeline. And that was a humble blessing for me to be able to serve her in that way. So yeah, great experience, crazy experience, but a really, really good one.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that's super awesome. Super glad. People are asking, is there still a way that they can watch the episode?
Yes. So there's two ways. Obviously, I believe you've got Channel 5 in the States. Have you got Channel 5?
No.
I don't know.
We have to watch it online.
I think we can watch it online.
I saw it online.
A link. That
if you go to my YouTube channel, if you just go to Jessen James official YouTube channel and just search Jessen James Rich House Poor House, it will come up. Because of copyright, only you guys can watch it in the States on my YouTube channel. It doesn't work here in the UK. So if anyone's listening in the UK, the States are fine. They can watch it on my YouTube channel, but the UK, you'll have to go to Channel 5's app, and it's still on replay at the moment on live TV, so you can catch it there.
And what I saw was interesting, even going to the grocery store and having a very limited budget and trying to figure out even how to buy the food that you guys needed to eat with almost no money. That was very interesting.
That was that threw me way back, because that's what my mum used to do. My mum used to take me to markets just like that, like when I was little. And I used to watch her go from one end of the market to the other just to save 20 cents, like on a you know, some vegetables or whatever, because every penny counted, right? So it was really nostalgic being in that environment, but I was used to it. So I knew there were deals to be had. So I, you know what? Let's hustle. Let's do what we can. Like, simple principle. If it's not a win-win, I'm not buying. So I went into places and, you know, we hustled and we did good. And then I found a really nice lady and you know, a lovely lady called Doreen, who ran this little stall. And, you know, I kind of got talking to her and told her my story, told her what we were up to and stuff. And you know, and she was really nice. She hooked us up. So it was really cool. It was fun. It's fun. Like, cause again, I don't look at the price tag when I buy stuff nowadays, but like back in that environment, you have to, like, you've got no choice, you know. So that was really cool.
There's two things I really love about what you said in explaining the story. Number one is, because we do that too. Money can provide a lot of solutions for you, but the lesson there is that there is solutions that don't require money. And sometimes we just don't see them because we're so used to doing it one way. And I think that's really powerful when people are in a state where they feel like, they're not living the abundant life that they want. There's still always solutions for everything all around you. I think that's really powerful. And secondly, I love that even through this pandemic and everything that's going on, that individual, that woman was able to take your course and is going to start a business.
Yeah.
Like you said, you're a nurse and look what you did and look what she's doing. Anybody out there listening, you can start your business and it can be successful by really investing in yourself and learning. I love that.
100%. 100%. Yeah.
Since we're on that tip of lessons learned, and you have a fantastic relationship with money, affinity for Louis Vuitton, so does Lacey. And so we don't always win. Recently, over the summer, you and I were attempting to pull off the impossible and get you over to the United States to speak at SummerCamp.
That's right.
Something that money could not solve, actually. And at the end of the day, we were defeated. We were unable to make that happen. Tell us about that situation, because I did not get to live it on your side. What you're staying at the hotel, getting on going to the airport, and the anticipation, the hope, then getting denied, and then again, what lessons did you learn from that?
Wow. That was gosh, that just reliving that now, it was crazy. Like, obviously, it was right down to the wire, right? Whether I was coming or not. And we were applying like crazy to come. And it's funny, like I think you dropped me a message, Shawn, like on a Sunday, I think it was, to see what's up. And literally the Monday after that, the US Embassy here announced that they were releasing special visas to go over to the States, and specifically to kind of contribute to the economic repair of the States, right? So great. So anyway, cut a long story short, Claire, my amazing PA, ran around filling out all these forms, doing this, blah, blah, blah. We found out on Tuesday that they'd issued a permit for us to travel. We booked the flight on the Wednesday. I think I was supposed to. I booked the flight on a Tuesday. I was supposed to come out on the Wednesday. Get to the airport. It's all good. About to go and check in, and there were 2 US officials on the ground, checking people randomly and doing whatever they're doing. And I don't know if this guy was having a shit day or whatever, but he wasn't. He just didn't care about what paperwork I had. He said, well, I'm sorry, I need to clear this with the embassy. This doesn't look right. And I'm like, dude, my flight's going. Like your embassy here in the UK have given me paperwork. And I don't have any kind of preconception of, authority figures in the States, but this guy seriously had a chip on his shoulder. Like, I don't know what it is, but he wasn't having it. He was like, well, good luck. You're not getting on the flight. And I'm like, watch me. And so I did. I literally had, like, Claire booked me a hotel attached to the airport. I just camped out in the hotel for 2 nights, going backwards and forwards with the embassy, arguing, spending more money. Like you said, money didn't solve this one, but I had the money to throw at it. I mean, I think till today I'm still like $5,000 down, like from trying to get out to the States, flights and visa applications and all this kind of stuff. And right down to the wire, I think they gave me a glimmer of hope to say they were going to interview me at the US Embassy. So I had to leave the airport, go to the US Embassy. They said, it's not confirmed, but I need to wait nearby just in case they contact me. So I calculated like 2:30 in the afternoon was the latest they could see me. Otherwise, I'd miss the flight. And the flight wasn't going to be the route that you told me. I think it was Chicago and then, or whatever it was. I would have to go to Boston and jump in a car and drive down to you guys. So I had it all mapped out. I was like, I don't care. I'm going to do it. It doesn't matter. Whatever. Even if you drive on the wrong side of the road to me, it's all good. I'm going to jump in the car. And right down to the wire, they turned around and rejected me at the last minute and said, sorry, they've had some urgent meetings and have cancelled my appointment, so I can't get seen. And at that point, I think I sent you a photo, Shawn. I think I sent you a photo of me outside the US Embassy with the American flag in the back, saying that I tried, dude. Like, it was interesting. But what it did is, I suppose what I can relate to anybody listening is, it's all about being resourceful. Like, yes, there are times when things aren't going to work out, but like, why would you not try and find out, and yet I might have spent money on it, and yes, I might have time and energy and this and that, but the lessons that came out of that and the perseverance that came out of that and all that kind of stuff. And, I'd rather know if I could make it or not than sit there thinking, you guys would have been running SummerCamp and I would have gone, I wonder if I could have made it there. Like, I didn't have to wonder because I tried, it is what it is, So, but I suppose on money, like just for anyone listening, I know people have got these really bad hang-ups over money or these money beliefs that don't serve them. And I suppose one of the most common ones is money doesn't buy you happiness. Well, in my book, money might not buy you happiness, but poverty doesn't buy you shit. So, I suppose poverty buys you more stress, more problems, more drama, more this. So, yeah, it cost me money, but it's irrelevant. It's something that I know I can replenish. And it's also given me an opportunity to kind of be on this podcast with you guys and also map out how we're going to get out to the States at some point, So it's all good. It was good fun.
Well, speaking of replenishing, how can people, because you obviously have offers, you do events over in Europe, and how can people get in touch with you? How can people engage with what you have going on? Because I'm going to say, look, I think that if you are looking for any degree of mentorship, help, assistance, strategy, advice, then why not use somebody that understands money, one, the way that Jessen does, but two, understands giving, right? The story with helping this family out, etc. So number one, how can people get in touch with you? Number two, given everything that's happened, what do you say about coming to SummerCamp in 2021?
I'm there already. I am there already. Like, as long as all this blows over, book me in. I'm there. Like I'm there, right? That's definitely on the agenda. It'd be an absolute honor to come and meet you guys and hang out with you guys. I'd love to do that. In terms of getting in touch with me, I suppose there's a few ways people can do that. But what I'd love to do at some point, obviously, depending on how we get on with SummerCamp and whatnot, but maybe one day, we can hook up and do some kind of like a webinar or a live Q&A or something to the BDC family or your followers. But secondly, I always say to people, get to know someone first. Like if you're going to hire a mentor, like Shawn, Lacey, you guys are incredible mentors in what you do. I see the amount of level of value you guys put out to the marketplace, not just to your paying customers, but to people who haven't even paid you yet. And that's good because I believe everybody should earn the right to coach or mentor someone. So what I would say to you is head over to flow.page/Jessen James. That's flow.page/Jessen James. And that will just give you links to all of my social media channels. And I would say just connect with my website's on there, everything's on there, but just connect with me online first and follow me, get to know me, get to see what I'm about. We got a lot of, of these, I don't like to guru bash, but we have a lot of gurus in the industry who are not necessarily living what they teach, which is what I love about you two. You're business owners, you've got businesses like all over the place, and you follow what you do. You don't just you haven't just made it and suddenly now you're teaching someone else to make it. You live this every day, and I think it's important for you guys to see as well. Like I said, I own 7 different companies. I run businesses myself. I don't just talk this stuff. But one thing you just said there, Shawn, is I give. I'm a big believer in lifting people up, like help people, like serve people. Like even you guys right now, if you're listening to this and you've got clients that are going through a rough time at the moment, look, I believe this. If I can't be with my clients when they're down, I don't have a right to be with them when they're up, plain and simple. So go and serve your tribe. Like I saw you two, like you and Lacey, I saw what you were doing. Like as soon as we went into lockdown, you guys shot the value up, man. Like you started serving your tribe, you started increasing what you're doing this and doing that. And I was doing the same here over the UK. So like, just understand that I don't need your money. If you're going to come and work with me, understand this. I don't need your money. Your money's not going to make me rich. But if you did engage with me, it might just course correct where you're heading later on. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Love it.
Awesome. I think that's a great place to end the None of Your Business podcast. But we're going to continue the conversation over in the Black Diamond Club with some exclusive thoughts from Jessen about what our members should be doing going forward in Q4 and beyond to make sure that they come out of this whole thing bigger, better, stronger than ever. Thank you so much for listening to the None of Your Business podcast. If you're not yet a member of Black Diamond Club, what are you waiting for? Jump on www.blackdiamondclub.com. We would love to have you. You get exclusive content like the rest of this interview and all of the other guests that come on the podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please subscribe, leave us a review. We'll be back again next week with another brand new edition of the None of Your Business podcast.